Have you ever wondered if you can grow your own cactus from seed? You can. This is my Texas nipple cactus. I was happily surprised when it bloomed, and I made a video highlighting its beautiful yellow flowers that you can check out from the link in the description below. I was even more excited when it started bearing fruit, because that means we can grow the seeds. It's actually not that difficult, and I'm going to show you simple, easy to follow, step-by-step directions. So let's get started. The first step is to harvest the fruit and remove the seeds. I don't know exactly how long this plant had been fruiting, probably about 2 to 3 weeks, but more than the length of time, I think you can determine if the fruit is ripe, similar to how you would choose other fruit. That is, the color should change to an appropriate color. In this situation, it is a dark reddish orange, and it should be soft to the touch. If you are in doubt, I would suggest you leave the fruit on for longer rather than picking it off when it is still immature. The fruit plucks off easily from the plant, and I used tweezers for the job. Here's a better look at what the fruit looks like. The fruit itself is only about ½ an inch, 1 centimeter long. Use a sharp tool to cut open the fruit, or your fingernails work fine too. The seeds inside are incredibly tiny, almost microscopic. I got about 30 seeds from each small fruit. Gently remove them. The insides of the Texas nipple cactus fruit are extremely gooey and sticky. Remove the seeds however you can, though I found just pressing them into a paper towel easiest. They stick to everything. Let them dry and remove all the sticky parts so that they do not attract ants or create mold or fungus. Mine dried in a few hours, or you can let them sit overnight. Of course, you can also order your seeds online or purchase them from your local vendor. The next step is to sterilize the soil in a microwave or oven. I normally don't do this, but as we will be germinating the seeds in a moist, humid environment for an extended period of time, mold and fungus can be a big problem. I don't have any special cactus soil on hand, so I will be using general potting soil. Place your soil on a plate and microwave on high for 2 or 3 minutes. Be sure and sterilize enough soil for the amount of seeds you have and the type of starter containers you will be using. Next, you need to organize your starter containers. You will need containers with a tight top to maintain a steady, humid environment. The tops should be clear or almost transparent. Choose an appropriate starter container, as they are going to be the home for your sprouts for the first few months of their lives. Any small container with a tight, transparent top is perfect. Be sure and put drainage holes in all your starter containers. You don't need a deep container. It can be relatively shallow. I have an egg carton with a tight top that I am going to use. Also, as I know how large the Texas nipple cactus plants grow to, I am going to germinate the seeds in a pot that will last me for the first few years of their lives. I figure why have to repot them if I don't have to. I will place these starter pots inside an airtight, watertight container. Alternately, you can also simply place your starter containers in airtight Ziploc bags. Now it's time to plant the seeds. Saturate the soil in your starter containers and then let it drain thoroughly. The soil will be quite moist, and you might not have to water your plants again for the first couple months of this process. My original intention was to place the seeds strategically in the starter containers. However, I found that the seeds were so small and stuck to any tool that I used, so that I could not place them exactly where I wanted them. So I ended up just sprinkling them as evenly as possible, and I will thin them out as necessary later on. You don't have to cover the seeds with soil. Simply sprinkle the seeds on top and maybe gently press them into the soil to make firm contact. Here is the egg carton, and here are the starter pots inside their translucent airtight box. I will be keeping them inside my house where they get plenty of indirect light. I will keep them above 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 degrees Celsius. It's been 2 weeks now, and time for a quick update. We've got quite a few sprouts. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, and I believe that's number 9 right there. 9 sprouts. We're doing great. These are the ones inside the translucent box. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe 5 growing already. I decided to move these into freezer bags simply because it's easier to monitor, and I'm always curious as to how well they're growing. It's been 1 month now, and let's take a look at the seeds that were germinated in the egg tray, and we've got about 18 seedlings. Now I'm not sure exactly what percent that represents because seeds were so small, as you recall, that it's impossible to accurately know how many I put in there, but I'm thinking it's a little under 50%. And I'm going to keep them in their container with the top on it to retain a really high humidity level. Here's the 2 that I'm germinating directly in starter containers. As you can see, in this container I only have 1 sprout, which is rather disappointing. I'm not sure why the seeds didn't grow in that one. This other one though, we have about 5 nice little seedlings, and these 2 we will leave in their moist little environments, nice humid environments. The seedlings are now 8 weeks old, and I can see some small spikes on some of the larger ones, and I will be removing them from the plastic bags and closed containers to start acclimatizing them to a normal environment. It's been 14 weeks now, and as it turns out, I removed the seedlings from their closed containers way too early. Don't make this mistake. What happens is that when you go to water them, the seedlings fall over because they have no real root structure and are not firmly embedded in the soil. This is extremely annoying and frustrating. I suggest that you leave them in a closed, humid environment for at least 4 months. This is why it is so important that when you first plant the seeds, that you make sure all medium and materials are sterilized. Note that if you want, you can take these 3-month-old seedlings and gently transfer them to another container, but at this point they need to remain in a sealed and humid environment. I decided not to keep all the seedlings, as I already have 1 large plant. At around 4 months or so, I started to harden off the seedlings by opening up the sealed bags for a few hours at a time, and sometimes removing them altogether, though never exposing them to direct sunlight. Here they are after 5 months. You can clearly see a lot of spikes. Here they are after about 6 months. They are now strong enough to be removed from the sealed bags, but I still do not expose them to direct sunlight. They're really looking like cute little cactus. And here they are next to the parent plant. It's a regular family. I found that germinating cactus seeds from the fruit to be not that difficult, but it does require planning, and it requires a lot of patience. You must be willing to leave your seedlings in their closed environment and not touch them for at least 4 months. I never thought I would be able to grow my own cactus. It's been a great experience. Please share your experiences in the comments below. Happy gardening! Click on the Community tab for updates and previews of upcoming videos. Click on the Playlist tab for videos grouped by subject. See ya!